Oh, we lost connection there, so I'm just going to carry on. I do have a YouTube channel, Edra Tales YouTube channel, so if you miss any of these live streams on Twitch, you can go over to the Edra Tales YouTube channel and catch everything there. We also have the Bottled Imp YouTube channel. This is Gocklesnook of said Bottled Imp. This is a fantasy channel dedicated to fantasy only, fantasy board game reviews, fantasy film reviews, and fantasy book reviews. So go check out the Bottled Imp YouTube channel. Also, if you want to see exactly what type of projects I get up to, you can go to the Edra Tales website, which is www.edratales.com. Hopefully, we haven't got any technical issues. It does say that we're still live streaming, which is good. We also do, on Wednesday evenings at 7 PM UK time, we do Fighting Fantasy, not only Fighting Fantasy, but we do game book live streams. And at the moment, we've just completed Masks of Mayhem. And when I say completed, we died 3 times. Hello there, Martha. How are you? It's stormy there. Yeah, it's meant to be a bit stormy here in the UK as well. Storm Amy, apparently. I don't know why we're naming storms nowadays. And Spellsing, morning, morning, morning. How are you? And Leerin is here as well. Happy Mid-Autumn Festival sunset. Lovely. It is. It's kind of, in the UK, we do have really lovely autumns. You've got all the lovely coloured leaves, you know, all the trees are changing from green through to yellows, through to reds, through to oranges. That's really lovely. And normally we do have quite a lot of sunshine as well, despite what people say. So it is quite sunny. But, you know, there's a bit of a chill in the air, because we're into October now, and it could be a bit stormy. Certainly further north we go. So it must be the same storm then, Martha. Martha says, it's -1 Celsius here today, I'm freezing. Right, yeah, so it's not quite as cold as that over here. Wrap up warm, obviously. And there's Jonathan. Hello, Jonathan. How are you, sir? How's the son? Oh, it was fantastic. It was really good to see him. So my son Kelton, he is 27. Well, he's 27 this year. He is married to a lovely woman called Abby. And I've met Abby a good number of times before. They live in Australia now. And they've come over a couple of times. And normally it's around about Christmas time. However, this time they decided to come over in September, because Abby's mum and brother and sister also came over. So they did like a big sightseeing tour of the UK, which was really cool. And I joined them for some of it. I went into London and did some of that sort of stuff. Also went up to visit my brother in York. So we did some stuff there as well. So that was really nice. So yeah, so it was really cool. Really cool to see him. And the big news is that I already knew anyway, because they'd already told me back in a good couple of months ago. But they are planning to live in Denmark. They're planning to live in Denmark. So that's good from my point of view, if I'm being really selfish, because it's a lot nearer than Australia, obviously. But I do feel quite, you know, sad for their family, you know, for Abby's mum, and also Kelton's mum, you know, because they're the other side of the world now. But that's the thing, when you have kids, you let them go and they go where they want to go. Cool. You can visit them and the home of Lego, absolutely. Yeah, I'm more excited about the Lego. Ken the Viking. Exactly, I need to grow a big beard though, don't I? Grow back my long hair. God, it's rather rousing Skyrim music, isn't there? Look at that. And also, weirdly enough, in Skyrim, this is autumn. They've got some autumn leaves on the trees as well. Yeah, good old Vikings. So yeah, so thanks for asking, Jonathan. I appreciate that. Rousing Skyrim music to accompany that you're pillaging. Yeah, exactly. Pillage. Talking of Vikings, this wasn't Vikings, was it? Oh, I thought I had it here. I've been looking at game books. Oh yeah, look, Beowulf Beastslayer. That's not Vikings. Is that Vikings? I can't remember now. It is Vikings. Oh, it's Anglo-Saxon, but that's got Viking influence, hasn't it? And close to the golden halls of Hera. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, there we go. Look, Beowulf Beastslayer. So if you don't know, Jonathan Green is a gamebook author. Check out his Ace Gamebooks. And that's not a description, that's just an acronym. They're terrible. They're not Ace. Oh, come on, I take that back. They are fantastic. Yes. It's an Anglo-Saxon poem about Danes and Greeks from Sweden, so Vikings. Yes, I knew it was an Anglo-Saxon poem. So it's Anglo-Saxon, but it's telling the story of Danes and Greeks, so Viking. Right. That's where I was a little bit confused. So it's not actually talking about Anglo-Saxons. It's talking about two different sets of Vikings, I guess. Vikings in the broadest sense. So yeah, fantastic. So why have I got Beowulf Beastslayer down for myself? Why have I got Forest of Doom down for myself? Why have I got... Oh no, that's Choose Your Own Adventure. But that's still the same. It's still a game book. Well, it's a branching narrative, if we're being technical. Why have I got Escape from Sherwood? Why have I got another of Jonathan's Alice in Wonderland? Alice's Nightmare in Wonderland. And others. Masks of Mayhem. This isn't the whole live stream, by the way. I'm not just going to list game books. Because... yeah, selling them on eBay. And of Magic and Monkeys. Not a game book. Hopefully this is Mid-Autumn Full Moon. And next Monday will be the radiant... What? It'll be as radiant as Celestial Mirror as last year's. Oh, lovely. Won't be having as many honeyed moon cakes this year, though, because I would like to fit in my armour and not sink to the next longbow. Imagine that. Oh, that would be a good comical Viking story, wouldn't it? Didn't Terry Jones from Monty Python, didn't he do, what is it, Eric the Viking? Eric the Viking, which was more comedy Viking story. Liam's bit, hopefully, oh no, I've read that. Martha has put out, remember, I still want a hardback copy of Man. Oh! Yes. Do I owe that to you? Did you win that? Well, I've forgotten, Martha. Or... Okay, well, there are still some available. Yeah, let me know. Did we do some sort of arrangement, or have you just said you want one, and I've said, okay, you need to pay? Or, I can't remember what the deal is. So, there are still some available, though. The reason why I've got these down is, and even Jonathan Green's massive game book here, Dracula, is because I am typesetting To Kill a Thief. I think so. I said I want one, but still waiting for the game book. Oh, I see, yes. Well, good news, Martha. The game book is cracking along now. I'm, pretty much fully focused on the game book. To Kill a Thief, I am typesetting the book. I have gone through all of the... This is the latest manuscript, version 5. As in, it's not version 5 really, but I won't bore you with how I number them. Because there's been loads more changes to it than just 5 changes. But I've gone through all of the proofs, so all of the spelling mistakes, all of the things that, might need a little bit rewording. I've gone through all of the play testing as well, so any play testing information that I got from anybody I went through. That's a weighty tome. It is. It is. This is... Oh, no, yeah, this is a weighty tome. However... This is going to be fairly weighty. Not as weighty as your Dracula one, but fairly weighty. So, after making all the playtest corrections and rewording some of the stuff and making all the typos, it's snuck under 100,000 words now. It's something like 99,858 or whatever. So it's not quite 100,000 words. But it's still a big beast. And... It is, I have done a rough typesetting, so I've laid it out very roughly, and it comes in without the illustrations at, what was it? 422. 422 pages, which is, if we're going to look at Jonathan Green's one, which is that. So it's that. So that is still going to be a beast. However, I've still got to put the illustrations in, which are 20 illustrations. So I need to, put in more pages. So that takes it up to 442. 442, which takes us to there. And then I do need to put acknowledgements, playtesters, any special thanks I want to put in, and any other sort of little gubbins at the back. So I'm going to roughly say it's probably going to end up being maybe 452. That's just a rough, because I don't know those last 10 pages, but it's going to be roughly that. So when we look at other game books by Jonathan, that is the, can't really see that, can you? That's the 'Twas a Nightmare Before Christmas, or the Krampus Night Before Christmas. So that is going to be my game book size. So it's sort of double, maybe double and a half. Yeah, double and a half. Then we have Alice's Nightmare in Wonderland is quite a chunky tome. So it's just below that. Maybe that's a better way to do that. Yeah, so it's going to be roughly that sort of size. Slightly thicker than Alice in Nightmare. So that's, I just found that interesting when you do your own game book and you get down to the nitty gritty. How many pages? Yeah, so Jonathan's got here 889, probably about just under 400 pages, because you've got quite a few adventure sheets in the back, which is cool. So it's going to be more that sort of size, maybe a little bit thicker. Lyrian's put a squirrel on a telephone wire. Not something you see every day here in a park. Fantastic. That just brightens your day, surely, seeing a squirrel on a telephone wire. He's probably making a call, probably saying, guys, some great nuts over here. Get down, you need to get down to the park. I need to go to get that Alice. Yes. Oh, do you not know about this one? Very good. I mean, Jonathan is a very good writer. His game books are very entertaining. Yeah, it's really good. It's a sort of dark twist on Alice, as you can imagine from the title, Alice's Nightmare in Wonderland. So and it's got a bit of a steampunk flavour to it. Is that correct, Jonathan? Would you go for that description? Because you've got sort of, I don't want to give too many spoilers away, but there's sort of clockwork stuff going on, and some very weird. Obviously, as you can imagine, it's Alice in Wonderland. But yeah, I do remember there's sort of mechanical beasts and things like that. So it's got a bit of a steampunk twist to it. Liam put nuts. I forgot to tell the operator. Nuts, there we go. To make a collect call. There we go. Where's Jam when we need the puns? So yeah, so check that out. If you want to check out any of Jonathan's books, I'm sure they're all available on Amazon. However, if you go to Jonathan's website directly, I'm sure Jonathan can hook you up with a copy, which is jonathangreenauthor.com or .co.uk, I can't remember. Yes, it was my transition from writing steampunk novels into writing classic-inspired game books. Oh, there you go. So Jonathan was very much in the head of writing steampunk novels. So it was sort of bled into his Alice's Nightmare in Wonderland. Yeah, no, I like that little twist on it where it's all a little bit steampunky. I like that. It's not full blown steampunk from what I can remember, because obviously you've got the Alice in Wonderland story running through it, but you've managed just to sort of pepper it with steampunk. So yeah, totally recommend that. I also looked at different size books of game books. If you look at this is Jam's Paranormal Hero, which is of Kara, which has just come out. This is his latest Kickstarter. And then if you look at Jonathan's, Jonathan's one's slightly smaller. This is, I believe, this feels like it's an A5 size. Oh no, it's slightly bigger than A5. Slightly taller than A5. So the size I've gone for is this size, which is the size that I did my Magic and Monkeys. This is the hardback edition, so it's slightly taller, and but that's the actual material of the hardback. Oh no, it is slightly taller. Oh, maybe I did that one slightly taller. I have a paperback here of Magic and Monkeys. Let's have a look. Okay, it's slightly taller. So this is going to be the size. I've done it to this size, which is slightly taller. I hadn't realised. I thought it was exactly the same, but it's slightly taller than Jonathan Green's Twas Nightmare Before Christmas. And if you look at the original Fighting Fantasies, they were even smaller. They were that size. Look at that. So, I don't know, I just found it quite interesting going, okay, what size shall I do the game book? How thick is it going to be? You don't know that until you typeset it. But obviously you don't know how you're going to typeset it until you work out what size novel you want, what size you want it to be. Oh, it's more... Yeah, so the Dracula one is just like... Is that the same? I don't know how interesting you're finding this. Oh no, that is the same. So there we go. But I think as long as my books are all consistently the same size, if you did get a collection of my books, they should all be roughly this. They will be the same size. That's my plan anyway. So that was, so that's good news. So I've roughly typeset it. So I just need to tidy up the text. And the great thing about it is because there's no chapters, then I could just flow it all in beautifully and not worry about having to worry about, breaking up for chapters or anything. So it's all flowed in, and then I just need to now go through every number and put it in the middle. So obviously the text is justified. That needs to go to the middle. So I need to go through every number and put it to the middle. Then once I've done that, I need to go through every bit of text to see if they're to do all the italics. Is that how you pronounce that word? Italics. So that's why you have the master that I printed out in Word, basically. So where I've got things like bold and italics, when I bring it into Quark, unless there is a way to do this, but it loses its formatting up to a point, so it loses its italicized words and also bold words. So I do have to go through, which is a bit of a pain, but I've got it here. I'll just go through it all. I'll just italicize things. Plus, I do need to put in the little puzzles. A little bit of a spoiler there, but there are certain puzzles throughout the game book, and also I need to then put in the illustrations. So I don't think it's going to take that long, really. Now I feel like that there is light at the end of the tunnel. The cover's done. Then once I've done the typesetting, I do need to put in the pictures. But then once that's done, I will print it all out again, and I will give it one final proofread, and then I'll send it to the printers. And then when that copy comes back like this, this is like a sample copy, I will then reread the whole thing again just to make sure, and then that'll be it. I'll sign it off, and then we'll get it to the printers. So Martha's going to the gaming club, but man, it's pouring here. I'm going to get soaked. Oh, well, enjoy your gaming club, Martha. It sounds like you're having a lot of fun now because you're going regularly, which is fantastic. And I do always say, real life, trumps watching live streams. For me, anyway, I don't expect anyone, if they've got stuff to do in real life, to be watching my live stream. So enjoy that. But get an umbrella if you've got one. Can't imagine, says Liren, how this was done all the way back in the 80s and 90s with only cue cards, A4s and typewriters. Yes. You would presumably, you might even write out your manuscript longhand first. I remember as a kid writing out 30,000 words of a novel and then typing it up. So presumably but that's how they would do it. They would have professional typists that could type, like 78,000 words a minute. So you would probably longhand your work, then you would give that to a professional typist to type up, then you would get that manuscript back, then you'd go through that to see, any typos, then presumably you'd give that to a professional proofreader, an editor, to go through typos and to edit it. Then you'd get back, then what you would do is that would probably go to the typewriter person, or it would come back to the author, they would approve it or disapprove it. Then that version would go back to the typewriter to type up another version that then presumably went back to the author to double check, then back to the editor and the proofreader. So yes, slightly more long-winded. Oh, there you go. Jonathan says, I wrote mine by hand, then typed it up. Yeah. It's 11:20. It's 11:26 a.m. here. Fantastic. It's a lovely orange sunset here. Beautiful. Well, it is sunny. Books used to get retyped. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Well, how else would you do it? But the thing is, I always think when you look back at old technology, and go, God, how, or you'd look back and go, how did they cope with, when they had to type everything up? But things were in place. People, that's what they did. So everything, it's what we did. Everything was geared up for it. So as I say, there was professional typists that knew how to type quickly. That was a skill. Touch typing, I learned a little bit. I did a bit of an online course for touch typing so I could type quicker when I did my university. So things were geared up. Whereas now, if you try to do stuff, you would go, so for example, if someone said, right, you're not allowed to have your sat nav, you have to work out your route, here's some maps, you might struggle if you've never seen maps before, because you go, well, I don't know, how do you do that? Whereas back in the day, that was part of a skill you learned. You just learned how to read a map. So it was already there. So things were in place. Jonathan's putting here, when I started publishing Fighting Fantasy game books, it was still the old school method. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I had to send 2 copies of a manuscript. So you would type up 2 copies. Oh, no, photocopiers were around, though. You would photocopy that, surely. With each section starting on a new page. Wow, I would send a box, like the ones you get full, copy paper in, to Puffin Books every time I submitted a finished book. Wow, that's beautiful. Of course, so if you're doing it on every single page, so I wasn't like that. I just flowed it in. So you would have to have, you'd have at least 400 pages. There would be 400 pages. Yes, photocopiers did exist, but yeah. No, I was going to say, because I just thought, you're typing it up twice. It's like, don't be an idiot, Ken. We had photocopiers back then. You'd photocopy it, yeah. But you're typing it up. But also putting each section on one page, yeah. So that's 400 pages as opposed to this is 200 pages, because I haven't done that. But weirdly enough, when I flowed it in, because of the size difference, so we've gone to A4 typesetting to this size, novel size, it does work out roughly. It was 403 pages when I typeset in the actual entries. Bear in mind I'd done something like 17 pages at the beginning explaining the rules. So what's that? Nearly 20. So 380 pages. So it roughly worked out 1 entry per page. I know that's not quite how it worked out, but I thought, that's interesting. That is interesting. Hence why it's, 400 pages. Mine is over 400 pages. So the next game book that I write is not going to be 100,000 words. It's going to be about 50,000. But you live and learn. You live and learn. That's what I like about doing all this creative stuff. You live and learn. Double-spaced. Oh, double-spaced as well. One side of the paper only. Yeah, it would be over 400 papers twice. Yeah, that is a lot of trees. A lot of trees. I'm surprised the Forest of Doom is still standing. You need to cut it all down for paper. It's my little joke. Just my little Fighting Fantasy joke there. Quite proud of that. Yeah, Grockle Snook. Doesn't think much of that, Jake. What's the matter, Grockle Snook? What? You had enough already? Yeah, come on, mate. I know you've been drinking already. He does like a little tipple in the morning. He tipples over. So yeah, so that's. I'm really excited actually because I do feel like I've definitely broken the back of everything now. It is just putting it all together. And this typesetting is actually taking quicker than I thought it was going to, which is very, very... That's music to my ears. The fax machine, lovely invention. At home, back in Australia, doubled as the domestic photocopy machine. Yeah, you could do that. And yeah, actually, I forgot about that. Which means all the Fighting Fantasy Adventure sheets of books borrowed from the school library had to be hand-drawn. Don't want to get to the librarians angry. What? Which means all of the Fighting Adventure sheets of the books. Oh, I see. So you... Right. So you couldn't put a book through the fax machine because obviously it's a book. So you actually hand drew all of this out. Fantastic. That's pretty cool. Adventure sheets. Yeah, so I'm very, very excited to get this done, get it out the door. You know, hopefully people will play it and they'll enjoy it. And that, you know, that's probably the main reason why you do this sort of stuff, is to share it with people that want to play it. You would have to take the books apart. Oh, I see. Yes, to photocopy the fax machine. Yeah, exactly. You couldn't do that if you borrowed it from the library. Whew, the Wrath of the Librarian. That's my next game book. The Wrath of the Librarian. Yeah, I like that. Oh, nice bit of honey. Nice bit of honey in my tea. Not looking forward to this. I'm heading out into the freezing cold. Wrap up warm, Martha. You don't need me to tell you that. Layers, scarf, hat, ski mask. It's probably not snowing. Conan the Librarian, yeah. Libra the Thorn, yeah, the Thom. Exactly. So, yeah, I just can't... you can probably tell I'm really overjoyed because this has taken longer than I had hoped. It's been a year now since I've kickstarted it, and I had hoped to get it out to people in 6 months. Which, thinking back, was probably a bit adventurous, but then, you know, I was very naive and I wrote 100,000 words, whereas I thought that by just saying, right, it's 400 entries, that would keep it, you know, as a short book. But of course, it's not the number of entries, it's actually how much you write within those entries. But, you know, I was used to writing novels, so... oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say. So then I'm also looking forward to writing the next short one. What am I trying to say? Those that backed Jam's Kickstarter and my Kickstarter, we are putting 2 game books together to do a exclusive Kickstarter special where you get both game books. So Jam's already written his because he's finished the main game book, and I'm writing one that's called. It's called, I think. What do you think? Which title is better, The Rat Wife of Sleepy Eye, or The Rats of Sleepy Eye? What do you think is better? Because it's going to be about this rat wife who has the power to charm rats, a little bit like Pied Piper. However, it is a genuine mythology. I've not just made that up and gone, oh, let me do something like the Pied Piper. It's an actual thing that I found in a book. And I have already written a short story about that. And I did want to expand on that theme. So I thought, oh, that would make a good little game book. So what do you like? The Rat Wife of Sleepy Eye. Jonathan likes that. Yeah. That's the original title. And then the other day I thought, oh, maybe I should just call it The Rats of Sleepy Eye. But I think The Rat Wife of Sleepy Eye is probably better because that's going to be the main character. So, and also, yeah, you're going to be playing the Rat Wife. Does that sound appealing? You're the one that's got the control of you know, probably I'm not a good rat wife with tunes like that. Here goes nothing. Wish me luck. Good luck, Martha. Thank you for popping in. I hope you're doing well and enjoy your games day. Enjoy your games day. I'm sure you're going to have fun. Wrap up warm and enjoy the day. See you soon, Martha. Hope we miss you on Wednesdays doing the live streams. Wednesdays doing the game books. Lerin has put out, I second on Rat Wife. Obscure myths ought to be given more recognition for a richer mainstream culture. Yeah, that's kind of what I think as well, Lerin. So, okay, I'll call it the Rat Wife. The Rat Wife of Sleepy Eye. So it takes place in the village of Sleepy Eye. And basically, yeah, you have to deal with rats is the premise. I don't want to give too much away. But, yeah, so that's exactly what I think. I've shown you this book before, and we've talked about it before, but I absolutely adore this book. Let me get this book. Where is it? Where are you? Oh. This book, if you are an aspiring author, or even if you're an established author, this is the book you need. It's such an amazing book. It's quite thick. It's got hundreds and hundreds of entries. Fantasy, mythology, folklore. So it's things that never were, of the cosmos, of the ground and underground, of wonderland, of magic, science and invention, of water, sky and air, of the night. So it's just amazing. Mythology, modern stories, creatures, dwarfs. We got doppelganger. We got chloricons. I wrote a short story about a chloricorn as well, which I do. All these sorts of things I do want to make into game books as well. And I think I've shown you this before. The best of Magica Monkeys. Yeah, exactly. Of Magica Monkeys. This is where I bought the book. I bought it in Acorn Antiques. £5. I bought this in 2000 and it would have been 3. Or would it have been 6? It would have been 2003. Can you tell? Is that what that date says? 2003? I'm pretty sure it would have been 2003 because I worked next door to this for a company called Special Reserve. They no longer exist, but they were a retailer of video games, PCs, consoles, and I worked in the graphic design department. Acorn Antiques, exactly. Did Miss Pap serve you? Yeah, I'd like to say yes. It's like shaking a Victoria Woods. No, is it? What's her name? Julie Waters came, just shook everything. But yeah, £5. Acorn Antiques. That's why I kept that, because it's beautiful. And look, this is where I found the story of the bottled imp, or the bottle imp as it's known. Yeah. And I went, oh wow, what a great story. I'd like to write that as a short story. And then I did a bit of research and Robbie Llewellyn-Stevenson had beat me to it. But I might, there's nothing to stop me actually writing that as well. It's got talking about floating islands, ebb tide, Essos, figureheads. And also in here is that rat wife of well, it's just a rat wife. It doesn't say where she's based. But yeah, it's got Avalon. It's got City of Apes. It's got Atlantis. So it talks about places as well. Neverland is in here. Wonderland, Celestial Centre, Earth, Delectable Mountains, Cockney. What's this? Cockney. Is that Cockney? I think Cockney. 2 soups. Some historians believe that this happy city was located in the present site of London. Others claim it stood in France and that the archaeologists discovered fragments of Cockney below streets of Paris. What? What is this? The French connection seems very possible because Cockney was famed, among other things, for excellence of its food. The Cockneyasians, or some say Cockneys, enjoyed an existence of total contentment despite their perpetual idleness. They never needed to work because they were served 24 hours a day by nymphs in the daytime and gnomes after sunset. Since they were supplied with everything they could possibly need, they had no politics, no army, no ambition, and in fact none of the qualities which lead to human discontent. They did not have to suffer old age because the Cockneyan, who reached the age of 50, immediately reverted to the age of 10. Men and women enjoyed an endless series of reincarnation which perpetuated the most vigorous years of human life. What the bleeming? Has anybody ever heard of this myth? That is gorgeous. I might have to do that. I might have to write about that. Do you see what I mean? Pretty much every time I look at this book, there's something to be found. Next door to Acorn Antiques. Isn't she based on the high street? Yeah, exactly. Acorn Antiques. So, yeah. Oh, I love that Cockney thing. That's beautiful. But, yeah, there's just some brilliant things in here. And, of course, you can put your own spin on it. So, you know, you just use that premise. I mean, I like the premise of when you reach 50, you go back to 10. I'd be 10 years old. Well, I'd be 12 years old. Lee Rins put it, just added Tate Museum of London to my bucket list. Oh, it's gorgeous, the Tate Museum, yeah. Made the sad mistake of not buying the guidebook for this year's Turner exhibition soon enough. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, how was it? Did you enjoy it? Yeah, and now it's sold out. At least when they return to the UK, we'll be able to see the whole collection for free. My favourite thing about London is knowledge and art is free for everyone. Yes, the Victorians went on a bit of a rampage, building beautiful buildings and saying this needs to be for the nation, which I think is a very noble thing to do. So yes, so that's, I'm looking forward to writing about the rat wife of Sleepy Eye. The other thing that I'm is this a good idea to do? What do you think? So, board game news, by the way. Board game news is the Crooked Crown is going to be sold in Italy in Italian. There is a company that is taking on the Crooked Crown. They have reworked the artwork, so they've done a different cover, which is dark blue. It's the same logo, but the crown, instead of just being here, is the main thing. So it's just one big bold crown, which I think does look really good, actually. And then you've got the characters on the sides, because we wanted sort of to show that, you know, there's sort of that you play goblins, your little goblins. And, you know, I do like this cover. It's a fun cover. But they're going to put the little goblins on the side. So that is great news. So we're going to be in Italy in a different language. Woohoo! That's what rich people did in Victorian times. These days, they go on joyrides to space. Yes, exactly. And you've got to look at the Victorian... Obviously, the Victorians weren't perfect. No generation is, no era is. However, they did do a lot. I guess like the Romans, they did do a lot. Put in sewerage. Great inventions, you know, they moved technology along. Obviously there was, you know, some bad stuff still going on. However, building, you know, taking care of people's welfare in terms of mental, you know, building parks in London, you know, big green spaces for people to walk and maybe walk their dog. I don't know if you're allowed to walk dogs in London parks. But just to get out of the, you know, the high-rise buildings, not high-rise, you know, but do you know what I mean? Nice green spaces, bit of nature. Museums, that's what you want. Give back to the people. And then, yeah, they're just going up into space. How's that helping anybody? So, yeah, so good news about the Crooked Crown. Very happy about that. Is this a good idea? Lyran's put, oh, and Mr. Tone's interpretation of Venice is like closing your eyes and recalling them in a dream. Fantastic. It really felt like going back in time 14 years ago, admiring St. Marco's Cathedral domes on gondolas on that sunny afternoon. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, Turner really does evoke emotion. And I think that's why he's so popular, because he creates emotion in us. And when art moves you in any way, you tend to remember it. You tend to attach yourself to it, don't you? You want to experience it. And hopefully, you know, this is why game books are so popular. Because you are making the decisions. You're really immersed into it. So, this is... Do you remember we played this? House of Danger, Choose Your Adventure by Z-Man Games. And they made it into a card game, in effect. They put a little psychic scale in and stuff like that. But it was all done on cards. Do you remember? Do you remember? So you got your little cards. But do you remember we read out the cards? Yeah? I really liked that format. I thought it was fantastic. And here, look, you've got the starter kit. You've got all the clues. You know, you'd look for these little cards. I thought it was brilliant. So, I want to do something like this as a game book, board game book. Has anyone ever played, and I'll get it down now, all this random stuff we're talking about, and plan to getting this one down, but where is it? Oh yeah. Escape the Dark Castle. Has anyone played Escape the Dark Castle? Again, very game book like, where you... Note to self, still go and find time to watch the final for House of Danger that I missed. So yes, see how we did. I've totally forgotten how we did. But this is a great... This done really well as well. Oh, look, all the cards are all over the place. It's got a few expansions in. But again, this is a deck of cards that you just read out what's going on. Yeah, so you have a deck of cards and you flip them over, and it's a cooperative game, and you all play together to resolve the situation. It's really cool, and there's different characters. You've got the miller, the abbot, you've got the cook. So, yeah, it's really cool. So I would like to do something like this as a game book. Do you think that's a good idea? Because you guys are game book connoisseurs. Is that the sort of thing that you would be interested in? You've got dice here, special dice, so you chuck dice. Because I just thought, wouldn't it be cool to do that? To actually do something where you have all the components. So you have a deck of... So in my one, I've got sleep encounters. You have a deck of sleep encounters that you randomly... Or you have dice that you roll. And depending on how many... Yeah, whatever symbol comes up the most, that's the sleep encounter. Or something like that. I played Escape the Dark Castle once in a pub with Tony Hugh. Fantastic. That is amazing. Did you enjoy it? I bet you enjoyed it. Yeah, with Tony Hugh and Stuart Lloyd. That must have been fun. That must have been fun. Well, maybe we should play this at UK Games. Maybe I should bring this along and we'll play it, Jonathan. Because I love this game. I absolutely love it. So I really do... You know, do you think that's a good idea? I should do something like this? Because this did really well. I think it was a Kickstarter to begin with. Now, I wouldn't necessarily kickstart it. I would want someone to publish it for me because they'll have the expertise of, you know, doing all of the inserts and all the box and the rules and stuff like that. But what do you think? Let me know. Let me know. Because this is really popular. I don't think anyone else has really done something like this. Isn't there the Warlock of Firetop Mountain? Outset Media. Yeah, Outset Media might. Outset Media might. Oh, hello. It says here, oh yes, a modular card game as a board dungeon crawl where no two dungeons are over the same. Yeah, that could work. Yeah, I was thinking maybe that... Yeah, I think. Oh, the reason why. Yeah, you'd have to do it. Okay, so that you've really just opened up a good question there. Would you want it replayable or one shot? So this is kind of like the game book where it's sort of one shot, isn't it? I guess you can replay it if you don't win, but I want it like a game book where it's sort of one adventure and you go through the different paths. So would you play it more than once? Whereas this is playable more than once. This has, different challenges because you basically take the 16 cards, you shuffle them up, so you don't know which order they're going to come, but you will recognise them, if you play the game a lot. But then there are expansions, so obviously you play with a different set of cards. So, weirdly enough, Outset Media have published, they're reprinting the Choose Your Own Adventure game books, branching narrative books. So when I was over in Canada at their headquarters, they had a display of a lot of the books that they had published. They've got new covers on, and so they might do, yeah. So there we go. Let me know your thoughts on that. Should it be replayable or should it be more nailed down like a game book? I'm just trying to think trying to imagine what that would be like. Because if it's replayable, then it's going to be a lot like Escape the Dark Castle. And then how would you make it different? If it's going to be more like a game book, what you could do is you have the game book here. You could do two versions, couldn't you? You could do the game book with the adventure sheet as normal. However, you could have the luxury edition that has all the cards and keeps track of everything. I think that's kind of what I like. Where if you pick up a sword or you pick up a magic potion, it's really cool to actually have a card that says magic potion +1, and you can put you don't have to remember then what it does or write it very smallly on the adventure sheet. I think that to me is the appeal of it. So I'd probably like to have a book in the centre of the box, and then you pick it up, and then you might have a map or certain things. Maybe it's a cross between the escape room as well. So you could have little puzzles that you have to do. Don't know. I have to think about that. But yeah, so I certainly want to do something like that. And I think that's all my news. Apart from obviously I'm going to Essen. To... where is it? Going to Essen for Guildlands. We're going to be promoting Guildlands over there in Essen, which is fantastic. Spiel Essen. And I recently bought this. Has anyone played this yet? Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle-earth. It's a 2-player. Oh, it looks fantastic. I've not even cracked it open yet. I really want to crack this open. Leeman has put here, replayable adventures with multiple paths and options to ending tends to get more glowing reviews, more bang for your buck quid value. Yes. I quite like multiple endings as well. So you still achieve something, but it might not be exactly what the quest has been. You you still have a victory, but maybe the baddie gets away, or you discover a treasure, but not the treasure that you're after, but you still get rewarded by the prince or whatever, So I quite like multiple endings. And would you prefer it in a book or would you prefer it in cards? I think a book is pretty cool. Because what you could also do, I mean, it's a lot of work, but you could have it on an app where it just reads out. It just reads out the entries. You hire an actor like oh my god, yeah, Sound Realms, like Sound Realms. Yeah, like sound reps. Enjoyable in multiple paths options. Yeah. So there we go. So a lot to think of, but I've got more than enough on my plate. I want to finish the game, but that's the goal. But I have also in the background been working on a mini murder mystery game, a little mini murder mystery game. I can't tell you too much about it because there's some good news with there, but you probably guess what it is. But unless I've mentioned it before, and I played this recently actually, Death on the Cards, because I wanted to see how you do a mini murder mystery game that's replayable. And the answer is it's not as immersive, which I thought it would be, because if it's replayable, you can't nail it down and say it definitely was the rope, it definitely was Professor Plum, and it definitely was the motive was jealousy. So it's more of an abstract game. And here, there's no murder weapon, there's no motive. It's just you deal out the cards. One of you is a murderer because it says you're a murderer. Everybody, and that's one of your secrets. Everyone has 3 secrets. The murderer has to reveal all the other people's secrets, and then they're socially disgraced. They're out the game. So if they get 3 of their secrets flipped over, they're out the game. If my murder card gets, if I was the murderer and that gets flipped over, then I've lost. When the deck goes all the way down, and then there's other cards you can play to do other different things. But when the draw deck gets right down to the bottom, there's a bottom card that you put it on, and it says the murderer has escaped. He wins the game, and that's it. So it's not real. It's not. You don't know what the motive is. You don't know who's murdered. You don't know what weapon they use. So all the normal things that you're trying to work out in a murder mystery, you don't in this. Which is fine. It's still a fun little game. I still enjoyed it. But I thought, you can't do a replayable murder mystery where it's always, that outcome is the outcome like it would be in real life. Unless, of course, it's theories. Oh, Jonathan has put here... Ollie Mack has QR codes. You can scan his book, which link to someone reading out what's on the page. Yes, I heard about that, which is good. Always like that about US Steve Jackson, Scorpion Swamp. 3 adventures in one. Oh, is it? Oh, I didn't realise that. Oh, I see, but it's sort of multiple endings, yeah. Ollie's Storymaster Tales was card book hybrid. Remember playing those online live 3 years ago in the park. That is true. He did start out as cards and you flip them over, but he then put them into book format because of shipping costs. We have that one. We don't play it very often. Oh, I see. And we never get it quite right until we finish the game, but then we don't play it again for another year. Right, well I've only played it 2-player, and I played it last Sunday, and I did enjoy it. And I think with more players, it's obviously 2 to 6 players. I'd like to play it again with more players. But, it's not a fully immersive murder mystery. You're not really solving anything. You're not putting clues together, are you? It could be reskinned, couldn't it? It could be that one of you is a dragon, the rest of you are villagers, and you're trying to find the dragon to kill the dragon or to scare the dragon off, whereas if you're the dragon, you are trying to burn your each player has 3 characters, 3 villagers, and you're trying to burn all the villagers maybe and escape. So it's not, I would say, an actual murder mystery game, but nevertheless I did enjoy it. It's good. But if I'm looking for a replayable murder mystery, the only way you could do a replayable murder mystery is if it was all theories. If it was theories, that it would be... I'm just trying to think. Like, this is my theory, and then the next game would be, this is my theory. Unless you had a way... Well, like Cluedo. Cluedo is, again, it's deduction of what's not there. So you'd have to have a way that you set up the game where you picked a murderer, you picked who the murderer was, you picked which weapon, and you picked how the motive. So each game is different because you randomly pick different things. Oh, it could be done then. It could be done. That sounds like a good game. Make that one. Oh, what, the theory one? Yeah. Or that one. I have an idea for Cluedo game book, and I went as far as contacting someone that has. Oh, did you? Yeah, that would be good. That would be good. Yeah, Cluedo. Yeah, because you could play maybe as the different characters. Oh, the Dragon and the Villagers game. Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You could reskin this game and do that. Yeah. Although I quite like the idea of the game. Well, I do like that idea, but I like the idea of a game that has. It's sort of like Cluedo, where you pick out of the suspects, you pick one of the murderer. They're the murderer for this game. Then you pick the weapon. That's that. You do it randomly, so you don't know what it is. Then you pick that. But then you'd have to work out a way of the gameplay is you working it out. So how do you work out those things? Could be done. Raven's Loft was one of the most loved D&D modules back in the early 90s because every replay is different in structure and even villain motivated, determined by tarot cards. Oh, okay. Lirin says here, one session the vampire can be depicted and dastardly, but with another card drawn he could be tragic, romantic, Byron hero. Oh, that's quite cool. Yeah, that's cool. Jonathan put here about his Cluedo game, but oh, that would be great, wouldn't it? You would sell bucket loads. I've not taken it further because I want to do something weird. Oh, I see, with the property, and I think there'd be too many people who could say no, and they'd take a cut. I'm currently trying to think of a different way of doing it by myself. Yeah, well, this is how To Kill a Thief was born, because I wanted to do a talisman game book. Couldn't get through to Games Workshop. Tried emailing a couple of people. Nobody wanted to get back to me. Fair enough, I'm a nobody. So the first 30 entries were written based in the talisman world. That's why you've got an enchantress in there, and why you can. Well, I won't spoil it if you've not read it, but yeah. So you could do that. You could do that. Definitely do, and also, yeah, you could do that, because if you think about it, what is actually, there's nothing copyrighted. The name, obviously, then the character names, but you could, Professor Apricot, Professor Apricot, Mrs. Black. Who else is there? I can't remember the other characters, but do you know what I mean? You can really. I have an awesome idea for how I would do the art. Oh, you should do it. You should do it. Dr. Black is the victim. Oh, there you go. Dr. Black. Yeah. But you could call it, like, haven't a clue. Give us a clue. Have I got clues for you? Professor Acropt, the guerrilla archaeologist. Clue don't. There it is. There it is. Clue doesn't. Clue doesn't. Who doesn't? Clue doesn't. I don't know. This is just, Don't listen to me. Oh, did I show you this book I got a couple of weeks ago? Adam in Wales. Yes, I did. I do remember talking about it. Design lessons from history's most influential tabletop games. Let's read a little bit. Yeah, he goes through loads of different games. Cluedo. When was Cluedo? That was like 1930s, wasn't it? Subbuteo. Have a guess when Subbuteo was first brought out. Have a guess. Wow. Cluedo, 1949. 188. I'm going to read up on this. Not now, obviously, but I will do it after this. Cluedo. Yeah, Cluedo, or Clue. They call it Clue in America. Designed by Anthony E. Pratt and Elva Pratt. Oh, it looks like husband and wife team. Or they could be brother and sister. Country of origin, England. Player count 3 to 6. Roll and move deduction. The Hook, a murder mystery ball game where players must deduce the killer, the weapon, and the location of the murder through a process of elimination. Wow. Oh, the original title was called Murder. During the Second World War, while working in a British munitions factory, Anthony Elva Pratt developed the idea of a board game which they called Murder. Players were tasked with solving a fictional murder by deducing the suspect, weapon, and location. Anthony Pratt applied for a patent in 1944. The game was licensed to British Games Publishing in Waddington and released as Cluedo in the UK in 1949. Pratt was reportedly paid £5,000. That's quite a lot of money back then, plus royalties on the UK-based sales, equivalent to £250,000 today. Wow. Cool. There we go. I'm gonna read up on that. So we better wrap this up. It's been about an hour. It's been lovely chatting with you guys again. Good to see you, and lovely to see Martha pop in. She's not been watching for a while, which is great. Well, not great, which is great that she's popped in, and hopefully she's having a lovely time at her board game club. Yeah. So I got a lot to think about, actually. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sharing some of your ideas, chatting through some of my projects, some of your projects. Cluedo would be fantastic. That would be so popular. Oh, if you could get the rights to that, that would be amazing. And you've got the pedigree. You know what you're doing with a game book. Surely, if anyone's going to write it, it'll be you, Jonathan. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. I'm going to a 40th birthday party tonight. It's Sally's brother and his wife. They both turned 40 this year. So they're both doing a collaborative 40th birthday party. And the theme is, it's fancy dress, it's fantasy and sci-fi. So I'm going to be dressing up as none other than not the monkey, not Kin, but Loquacious McCarbre. I will be donning my Loquacious McCarbre gear and going as there. It's because I had all that stuff in. I couldn't be bothered to get another costume. Plus, I can advertise my book. Can take that along. Thank you, Lee Rin, for watching. Good night, Lee Rin. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Martha. Thank you, Spelsing. Thank you. Is there anyone else that watched? We had about 5 people watch at one point. Thank you to everyone else that watched as well. And if you didn't comment, but you were watching in the background, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Who's Sally going as? Princess Leia in the golden bikini? That would be nice. I did try and convince her for that. What, me as Jabba? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying, Jonathan? She's going to go as Grot Bags. There's somebody up the door. She's going as Grot Bags. And when we looked up online exactly what it wasn't, but now you mentioned, yeah, thanks, Jonathan. Yeah, you say that. We looked it up online. I said, yeah, let's exactly see what Grot Bag wear. But of course, I forgot about Croc. You know, the guy, presumably it's a guy dressed in a Croc outfit, was her dim-witted sort of companion or whatever, slave, accomplice, henchman. And Sally said, yeah, oh, we missed a trick there. You could have gone as Croc. No, that's not going to happen. So there we are. She's going as Grot Bags, which is, I think, is quite funny. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. And remember, if you do miss any of the live streams, go over to the Edra Scrolls YouTube channel. It is over there where we put all of the live streams. And If you haven't yet played Guildlands, bought a copy, go and check out the reviews. They're getting good reviews, 7s and 8s and 9s, a few 10s as well. Go to Board Game Geek, have a look. Guildlands. It's available on Amazon, I do believe. It's available on Zatu. It's available probably in your local game shop. If it isn't, ask them to get it in for you. I'm waiting to buy it at a convention and get the Messenger Guild. No worries, Jonathan. No worries. Yes, not a problem. Not a problem. I will. So I'm going to Essen, and I'm going to get some more Messengers Guilds. So, anyway, yeah. Wait. Well, the next convention I think is UK Games in the UK. They're not doing Dragon Meat, but maybe they should start doing Dragon Meat now. Is anyone? Yeah. Anyway, we can talk about this again. Dragon Meat. I don't think I'm going to. When is Dragon Meat, by the way? I should go to Dragon Meat, shouldn't I? When's Dragon Meat? Is it the 20th of November? Things get a bit busy for me in November, though. Anyway, yes. There's the Messengers Guild. Woo! It's the ponies. Anyway, I'm going to sign off now. 29th. Yes, Jonathan will be there. So if you are going to Dragon Meat, check out Jonathan's store. He will have his selection. It's only one, but selection of game books. Just imagine his selection. There we are. Lovely to chat with you again. As always, have a lovely week. We will be back we are actually doing a Choose Your Own Adventure. We did start the Choose Your Own Adventure. Where is it? I've lost it. Yes. No, it's not that one. Oh, it's over there. We are carrying on with the little Choose Your Own Adventure. We'll probably finish it this Wednesday, but 7 p.m. every Wednesday we do a live stream of a game book, and then we'll choose a bigger game book to do that will probably last 4 to 6 sessions. Take care, everybody. Have a lovely weekend, and remember, may your thieving never be caught. Don't go stealing, though. Only in a fictional fantasy world. Don't go doing it in the real world. You get arrested. See you later, everybody.